That's right, we are going to unleash the genius of Irish music makers. And so you can learn some lessons for your own music on this St. Patrick's Day special. Coming up, we're going to hear from KNEECAP, Sinead O'Connor, the Pogues, FONTAINES DC, and more. So let's get straight into it. Slán Dravá, everyone. Welcome to Whiskey and Synths. Hope you're good. So, KNEECAP. Sometimes you need to abandon old ideas to make something current and vital. So KNEECAP said with their album Fine Art, it was produced with Toddler T and made in a 3-week whirlwind in the studio in 2023. And apparently they had loads of songs before they went into the studio, but scrapped them all and wrote new ones on the spot. And they said Fine Art's based around the idea of a night in a pub, kind of like the one they were interviewed in the interview I was reading when I was getting research on this. And they said there's spoken parts between songs. You hear what people have done. They've went to the bathroom and, they went out, done various nefarious things. And it's kind of wildly varied. And I think because they decided to scrap all these tunes they had before and make something on the spot, it made something vital of the moment that totally captured something like a photograph or like a whole bunch of little clips of videos. I don't know if you've ever been on holiday and you get all these clips and photos. It's almost like that, and they've done it in a moment, and obviously so many people have resonated with it, and that's why it's successful. So sometimes you need to abandon your older ideas to make something that's more vital and current, not just to you, but your audience as well. Oh, so we couldn't have a St. Patrick's Day special without the Pogues. Oh my God. So Shane MacGowan, absolute legend. And I think you have to take everything he says with a pinch of salt, but he seems very honest as well in his interviews. And this was an interview that was in 2010, deep in a rural pub in Ireland at 2 a.m. And then they ended up going back to his cottage with other kind of crazy people. And they had an interview, and he was talking about the Dubliners who were banned at one point, censorship that failed, and then him and the journalist are talking about the Rolling Stones. They said they tried to get the Rolling Stones out of the way, but they couldn't, blah blah blah. And then he kind of goes on a tangent in the interview, and he says, "I'm meant to be doing a lottery. A fairy said I have to do it." And then the interviewer goes, "Is this all material for songwriting?" And he's like, "I don't write songs." And he's like, "Where do they come from when you do?" He's like, "I don't know, man." And then he's asked, "Is there a good time for songwriting?" And the journalist is like, "Before you go to bed, for example." And he's like, "Maybe if I went to bed." So that gives you an idea of Shane MacGowan, if you've not heard of him, an absolute character. But one thing he said in an interview, this is to do with the sort of maybe technique you can try in regards to songwriting, is start by doing a cover. Then he's like, I write a bit, then forget the words, then remember the words, then forget the music, then add new bits. And by the end of it, the cover sounds nothing like the cover, which is amazing. So the Pogues are so entertaining, so like brilliant music and art and live performances. Shane MacGowan's passed now, but his legacy lives on. And I thought it was well worth getting one in. So that unusual songwriting technique of starting by doing a cover, forgetting it all, and ended up with a new song in the end. So the next one is this up-and-coming producer called ELLLL, like ELLLL. Ellen King, born in Cork, founding member of Ireland's first femme electronic music collective, worked on loads of projects, including sound design, score, and advocated for diversity and visibility in the music scene as well, and done workshops on music tech and DJing. So with ELLLL, this is about why restricting your DAW is freedom. So she was like, on a DAW, you can do anything you want, which can be really overwhelming. So she sets limits, like only using 8 elements. And she tends to start with a lot and then chop everything away to leave only what I can absolutely not do without. So it's a good system to avoid clutter and gives you a formula or foundation to work with, which is such a good tip. We've all had that paralysis by analysis. too many kick drums, or we've all had that mix that's overstuffed. So before you even get to the mix phase, going through your arrangement and just getting rid of things that aren't serving the track or the song. And the thing is, once you do that, you might worry it's going to sound too minimal. But the truth is, when you mix a track like that, you can then emphasize the good parts about everything. And suddenly your mix sounds massive, even though it's made from minimal ingredients. It's just those ingredients are top quality. And it kind of like chefing, I guess, they're not chucking in every ingredient. And when they use the best ingredients, it's top quality. So yeah, that's a great tip from Elle. All right, it's time to learn from FONTAINES DC how to never fail at recording again. So this is all really cool recording tips from FONTAINES DC. And by the way, if you're liking this Irish special podcast, I'm going to have 2 episodes on FONTAINES DC coming up in the future that I've researched as well, because I'm loving their records so much. They're the band of the year. It's absolutely amazing the last 12 months they've had. So this is one tip on recording though. So they said we try and be prepared as possible. For this album, we had 4 weeks of writing and pre-production at a studio that their friend owns in London. We tried to get the songs, even the sounds, as close as possible to how we wanted the finished album to sound, to give us a lot more control. So it's an amazing, important step, writing, obviously, and pre-production. When you're rehearsing it, you're trying to get the songs the way you want, add all the little details, and just make really great demos will help with that as well. I said we all come up with ideas that we usually just record on our phones, put them in a folder that everyone can access and come up with ideas. Name the ones we like and put those songs on a board and plot out what we're going to do. So the whiteboard apparently is a really important tool in the recording studio to keep them organized. And they said we always have about 30 ideas for each album, which is a lot. Then we play around with them and know quite quickly which ones are working, which ones aren't. Some go on hold for future records, even if we think they're quite right for the album we're working on, which is another interesting thing as well. And some of them might never seem the light of day. Some of them might. It's like Radiohead have had songs for 20 years and eventually they put them out. Whereas KNEECAP scrapped a whole bunch of material just so they could put out what felt right in the moment. So it's really up to you. You have to trust your gut on that. There's no right or wrong. I quite like Prince's vault mentality, where you just got a vault of songs. He had a literal vault, like a bank vault style thing with a big door in that, where you can have it as like, backed up SSD or some sort of backup notes and stuff like that. But you definitely should have a vault of your lyrics and songs that you can draw upon. It's good if you ever get the chance for a collaboration. If someone asks you to collaborate and you've got a vault of loops or lyrics or, something to start with, so you don't feel like, oh my God, I have to come up with someone on the spot. So that's a good thing to do. And they said in regards to recording, how many takes does it take them to record? Well, they do the instrumental tracks live, and they try and limit the amount of takes we do to a minimum. It feels more like the more repetition you do of the same song, the excitement gets sucked out. And then once we've done that, we record the vocals over the instrumentals, and then have a few days doing overdubs and doubling up guitars or instruments that are not in the core of the band. So they do it live as possible, and like I said, not many takes. Like, it's really important. Keep the energy in your recording sessions as you're doing it. All right, so if you've watched this far, I want to help you with your music personally. It's time to kill your I'm not done with it syndrome. Get rid of that, and I want you to finally finish and release your music on a label in only 10 simple steps, delivered over 10 simple emails. I'd even guarantee it, if you follow the 10 steps and don't get the result, I'll meet with you on Zoom just to get you over the edge. And I run Tonic Note Records, a label that's been going for 7 years that helps producers like you get released as well. So this is just a nice freebie for saying thanks for watching so far. Click the link below and I'll send you those 10 emails one at a time over 10 days. And there's only 10 of these guides per month because I do guarantee them with that free Zoom call as well. So if you want to finally finish your track, click below and I'll happily help with that. So, Sinead O'Connor, how can she help us unlock the mystery of music in our vocals? Now, she said, when I sing, it's the most solitary state. Just me, the microphone, and the Holy Spirit. It's not about notes or scales. It's all about the emotion. Now, loads of the research I've done, singers have said this time and time again. It's about the emotion, communicating the feeling. And obviously, you've got to have some ability as a singer. You've got to have some sort of control of your voice, but it's mostly about that communication and getting across what you want to say, channeling that through you, which isn't an easy thing to achieve. But I've noticed a lot of singers do seem to have this kind of spiritual side, like Sinead O'Connor said. She said, I'm on fire when I'm singing. I'm completely in character. I use my sense, memories. Every syllable of it is meant. It's a very special thing, which is absolutely amazing. I think that state comes from constant practice, like you're rehearsing, and you stop thinking about the mechanics of doing it right. And so you just stop worrying about it, and then you sort of this sort of almost magic comes across it. And it's like the power of rehearsal and practice lets you unlock the next level, which is the power of this true communication. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. It's been so fun to make. I'm in the kind of makeshift studio in the new flat. So happy with it. I still got to cable stuff up and that, but this is the first one being broadcast from here, so I'm quite chuffed. Just a little recap. We had KNEECAP, abandon old ideas to make vital work. Sinead O'Connor, unlocking the mystery of music with your vocals. Maybe consider this kind of thing about communication and mystery. The Pogues had the unusual songwriting technique of doing a cover and then it goes so wrong it becomes an original. ELLLL, how restricting your DAW is freedom. Very good, I like that. And then some great recording techniques. Never fail at recording again with FONTAINES DC. So I hope you enjoyed this St. Patrick's Day special. I want to say Sanjava. I'm Scottish, obviously, if you didn't notice. But Irish people are like Scottish people, but even better. There's actually, Mark Nelson, the Scottish comedian, had a funny joke about this. He was like, at an English wedding, if you're Scottish, you're like a novelty until an Irish person comes along and then you're just an angry drunk. It's how magic Irish people are. So yeah, shout out to all my best friends, Mark and Fiona especially, and all my other pals from Ireland. I hope you enjoy St. Patrick's Day and hope you enjoy this special music special, unlocking the genius of of Irish musicians. There's been so many good ones recently, and hopefully through in some classics there too. Always do this bit of waffle at the end of the podcast. If you do want help with your music, remember, click below. There's that free guide I'll send out to you as well. Happy to send it. I reply to every comment, reply to every email. I actually help teach Ableton and music production, so get in touch if you want some help with that. But I'm going to sign off the podcast now. Enjoy your whiskey, enjoy your synths. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you later. Whiskey.